the broken record with this shit, so I'll keep it short and sweet. With regards to Carr and 4,000 yards, I keep going back at RJ's. You guys know RJ's on one side of the car fence, I'm on the other one. For me, I'm not even looking at our team stats prior to that 10th game of the season because quite frankly, after 2 years of going 6-3 and then collapsing, I'm not as interested about what worked at the beginning of the season. I'm most interested about what went wrong at the end of the season when we decided we weren't a playoff team and weren't going anywhere. So I want to look at Carr on a granular level, game by game, and look at those first drives of the game where we go 3-and-out and see how much of it is, a predetermined look that wasn't there versus Carr throwing high and too hot on a quick out to Aguilar or whatever. I really struggle with Carr because I don't think he's ever going to be the guy that can take 2 weeks of press interviews before a Super Bowl and then come out playing well. I don't know if he's ever going to be the guy to take us to the Super Bowl. Is he the biggest issue on the team? Fuck no, he isn't, man. He's a talented ass player, but he's hot and he's cold. I'm not convinced Gruden's the guy, let alone Gruden the guy with Carr.
I see. This is the thing. We can all point to Derek Carr's errors, and there's plenty of them, plenty of warts with Derek Carr, right? Plenty of good things about Derek Carr. But when you look at the Raiders, right? Who are the most consistent players throughout the entire season on the Raiders? Nobody on defense. I can't say there's even Max Crosby disappeared for long periods of time. Jeff Heath might be the most consistent guy on our defense. Like when you stop and do it.
Consistently mediocre.
But he's on the field and he's never god awful, right? Like that's how bad our defense is. On offense, Waller, Rodney,
Carr.
Probably Carr. Daniel Carlson, like seriously, Derek Carr is the fourth most consistent player on our team, and that's counting a kicker. He makes mistakes,
what does it say when the fourth most consistent player on the team, or the most consistent player on the team, has I think he's got the record for losses in terms of quarterbacks since his time in the league. Yes, again, supporting cast hasn't been there, but I'm not looking for consistency. I'm looking for fucking wins. I want wins, dude. I want to go to the fucking playoffs.
And
I'm not convinced Carr's
blaming Carr. And I don't
I blame the defense.
Somehow shoulders all this game. The defense, yes.
Carr, Gruden, we don't know which one's which, but they're right there, right behind a historically bad defense.
Yeah. The reason we can't win is because Derek Carr is terrible in coverage and he can't get tackles. And he doesn't wrap up. Derek Carr can't get in. Yeah, that's what's the problem with Derek Carr is he can't play defense.
RJ, did he not underthrow a bunch of balls today? Do you think those picks were good interceptions to throw? Like this is a classic.
The one off of Waller's hands, 50. That was a little further. Waller should have caught it. 50-50 ball. There was an atrocious pass where it was a bad read. Eyed the receiver the whole time. Threw it right to the safety. Like that was bad. But he hit some dimes too. Like he made some great calls at the line too.
There was a Renfro throw to start the game where he was high and outside on I think it was a slant or it was a seam. I'm not sure, but very, very lucky that wasn't picked off. Timing was off, but again, he's throwing a bullet where his receiver isn't there. And it arguably could have been picked, should have been picked. First questionable call of the day. There was the Waller one that bounced off his hands. Look, I'm on the side of the fence where if the receiver can get two hands on the ball, they have to catch it. It's hard to blame the quarterback in that position, but goddamn, dude, how often do we see Carr throw too hot or too high or too inside or too outside? And it's those subtle things. Like when we're looking at the Aguilar bomb, he underthrew that by a lot, and that was a clean pocket where he could have set his feet. He had the opportunity to set his feet, but he chose to throw on the run, which he's done successfully in the past, but he missed that throw. And again, when we talk about Carr's 4,000-yard seasons, that's the sort of shit that we don't see.
I think what gets you off is that you watch Derek Carr meticulously because you're a Raider fan, right? You watch Derek Carr far more meticulously than you do any other quarterback in football, right? We're all Raider fans. We're all the same way, right? We watch more snaps and analyze Derek Carr more than anybody. So we look past the stats more than any other quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. But that's also giving us insight to the errors that you're not seeing the insight of the errors of other quarterbacks. Like Derek Carr makes these mistakes, but all but 3 quarterbacks in the NFL make those mistakes. Like Lamar Jackson makes all those mistakes too, except he runs way better and his defense is way better. Like you look at those little subtle mistakes, every quarterback in the league does it, minus like Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, like everyone does. He was 24-38, 371 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions today. That's a
classic
good. That's a good quarterback game. That is a good. If you can get that from your quarterback, you are a winning team. If special teams does their job, defense does their job. Like I think you're putting Derek Carr to a standard that's just like, look, if someone offered us a trade for Patrick Mahomes, fucking sign me up, right? Like, if we can get one of the like 3 or 4 quarterbacks are definitely better than Derek Carr, I'm in. But they're just not there. So it's like, let's take a really good quarterback, not great quarterback, will never be a great quarterback, but a good one, and build a defense around him. And we've got a winner. Imagine how good we'd be if we had the 12th best defense in the league. Fuck, man, we'd be cheering Derek Carr's MVP and all this other shit.
I think it's a form of like bias, basically, when we're talking about Carr. We all fall into this trap, but we fall into the trap of, instead of analyzing Carr's performance, we drag it. Well, we compare it to the defense, basically. Like we need to get in the practice of comparing each individual unit independent, because they obviously, during the course of a game, you know, if a defense is making stops, the offense gets more of the ball. They are symbiotic. It matters what one is doing to the other.
Yeah.
But we can't keep saying, like, this is a classic stat line from Derek Carr: 24 for 38, 371, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That makes it, you know, take the interceptions off the board. You think that that's a, you know, like an all-pro kind of game, right? But this was a choppy, you know, it looked really cold in Denver. I mean, Beth Mowins made it sound really fucking cold. It sounded goddamn awful being there.
It was really windy towards the end too.
Super windy, right?
Those punts, and like that last punt by Denver, which just it was in like the 40-yard line. It was so bad.
But this is just that, like, this stat line doesn't take anything into account. And you do have a valid point though, RJ. Like, we are hypercritical of Derek Carr because we do get to see more of him. And you are right, guys like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, they're not fucking perfect either. They miss throws. You know, I am cognizant of that. But again, I think that the way that we report stats in the NFL, where the only stats that you see from a quarterback are his completions, his attempts, the yards, the touchdowns, the interceptions. Like, I want to get granular with that motherfucker and look at all these games where we've really been struggling. And again, is it Carr? Is it Gruden? Who fucking knows? But he does have a supporting cast.
I want you to do that, Rory. And then I want you to do the same thing with the like 7th, 8th, and 9th best quarterbacks in the league, and see if he's like drastically worse than those guys. Because I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
Would you take Stafford? Would you take Matt Ryan over Carr?
I would.
I'd take them both. And part of that isn't necessarily saying that they're better quarterbacks. It's just, God damn it, I feel like we need a fresh start, man.
We need more of a spark there, man. He's too vanilla.
Our offense is only getting better every season. The offense is getting better.
Statistically, yes.
What other measure is wrong with it? And even the running game was down this year. And the passing game picked up the slack by the quarterback. Like this, like again. Are there better quarterbacks than him? Yes, but are we going to roll the dice on a draft pick that may or may not be better, that doesn't have 3 years of work with Gruden and knows his system, has the timing with those receivers? Like him and Darren Waller probably know how each other, like what brand cologne they have. They've been so tight. Like you're going to start all over. Maybe someone will do better with Derek Carr rolling the dice like that, but most likely not. Is someone going to do better than Derek Carr next season? Probably not.